Well, here we are, a bye week now for the Orange over the weekend, and obviously not much changing for them. A lot of changes in the rankings when they came out yesterday, but Syracuse with that bye week and now getting ready for Stanford coming up on Friday night. Now, when you look at Stanford, Eric, have you had a chance to take a look at the team, watch any of their games?
Yeah, I think Stanford. They're gonna be a tough opponent for Syracuse. I still think Syracuse will dominate this game, but as far as offensively for Stanford, they're kind of they go by Ashton Daniels, their quarterback. He's a true dual threat. But the thing about Stanford is they always have some big and lengthy and tall physical receivers. So they got a few guys that we got to watch out for. But I really do think Syracuse will contain him. If you can shut down Ashton and just make sure that he can beat you with his arm, I think we're going to be fine. Defensively, Stanford's run defense, I think they're a lot stronger than their pass defense. So I think Kyle McCord is going to have yet another 300-yard passing game. Just looking at Stanford defensively, and I don't think their DBs, their safeties are going to be able to keep up with the Aronde Gadsons and Trevor Pena. And I think once we open up the pass game, then LaQuint Allen can really just iron it out and ice them later in the game and just get those big 8-9 yard runs and wear them down with some first downs and just take a ball out of Ashton Daniels' hands.
Eric, what do you make of Florida State and obviously the issues they're having now at 0-3 and clearly in all kinds of disarray after coming into the season ranked 10th to start the season? Now, you look at them and they could go like the opposite, like no wins. I don't know if that's possible, but they just look so disorganized at this point.
It's just, I think it's crazy to say, NIL's changed the game in a lot of ways, but at the same time, sometimes it's time to move on to the next guy. And I don't think, whatever you want to call it, I just don't think DJ's getting it done for them. You got to get a new spark. And I just think, he's got such an immense amount of pressure on him, number one or one of the top recruits coming out of high school, didn't really pan out at Clemson, had a decent year at Oregon State. But obviously struggling big time over at Florida State now. But you're expected to win 0-3. You know what? If you lose 4 games in a row, I mean, it's already 3 games in a row. You can just see the fan base already losing hope. But you lose 4, good luck. You might get run out of Tallahassee. So,
wow. Hey, Eric, last hour we talked to Don McPherson, and he had just an interesting story about after the game in the Dome back in '87 where they beat West Virginia, and he was at an event, and Pete Rose recognized Don from the game and from following him and maybe some gambling. I don't know, but he knew who he was. But when was that? Tell me about a time that happened to you. Like maybe you were somebody that you wouldn't expect would have recognized you or knew who you were, maybe at an airport or a function or somewhere where they came over to say hi and you're like, oh my God, this guy knows who I am.
Yeah, I think that would honestly, it was the year after I was done playing at Syracuse. There's a guy named Tim the Tap Man. I guess he was local in Syracuse for a little bit. He's a big streamer. Kind of a big entertainment, big personality guy. But, I was going to a Syracuse game and he happened to be waiting in line and, I recognized him and I went up, introduced myself. He recognized me and I just thought that was a really cool moment and actually very, very nice guy. And obviously very successful at what he does for what, kind of the new wave and the generation of streaming for video games, which is a crazy, crazy concept to me. I'm like, wait, you're making a livelihood, playing video games and doing this, but there's a reason because he's good at what he does. It's more of the personality and the guy that people actually want to watch him literally just play a video game just because of the jokes, the things that he's able to do, and it's really unique. So I think that was one of those like, oh wow, that was a pretty unique and cool experience. I'm glad that he recognized me as well. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, a bye weekend for the Orange. What did you do this weekend, Eric, other than catch? I'm sure caught a little bit of NFL yesterday.
Yeah, for me, it was just a lot of still recovery. I can't really go many places still about 10 days post-operation. And so a lot of time around the house, went on some walks. But like I said, I am chomping at the bit to get out and to attack this physical therapy. I think I can start in about 2 weeks now. So been going a little stir crazy. If I didn't have football, then I don't really know what I'd be doing right now. So the weekends are definitely filled with a lot of sitting down, watching a lot of games, and NFL luckily had some good games, and college had a lot of them as well. So at least had an entertaining weekend.
Are you putting your collar on when you watch those games so you don't get too excited? You don't want to move your head around too fast, so.
No, luckily I'm not like juiced up like that. Maybe if Syracuse plays, I might have to throw the collar on. But other than that, I'm not getting too excited about these other teams. I'm just hoping for a good game. So.
All right, Eric. Listen, we'll check in again, and we'll still keep it on Friday. It's a Friday night game. And I know a couple of weeks they'll play on a Thursday night, so we'll make that adjustment as we get closer to that game. But thanks, as always, glad you're feeling a little bit better. We'll check in later this week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.